So the first thing you do is pour 2 tablespoons of water, lukewarm water, into a bowl. Then add half a tablespoon of active dry yeast into the water. Dissolve the yeast in the water and let it stand for about 5 minutes. In a medium mixing bowl, we're going to mix the sugar, salt, and butter. So you're going to take a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, 2 tablespoons of butter, and half a teaspoon of salt. You want to heat up 3/4 of a cup of milk in a saucepan on the stove. You want it hot but not yet simmering. Pour the milk into the mixture of salt, butter, and sugar. The hot milk will dissolve the sugar and melt the butter. You can go ahead and mix that. Now pour the yeast mixture in with the milk mixture. Now you're going to beat in 1 large egg, and a 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. Now stir in 2½ cups of unbleached flour. Now once you have a dough, go ahead and put it on a floured surface, and you're just going to knead it for about between 5 and 10 minutes. So after you're done kneading, you want to grease up a bowl, put your dough in there, put plastic wrap over it, and you're just going to set this aside and let it stand until the dough doubles in size, which should be about an hour and a half or so. Now to make the frosting, you're going to mix a 1½ cup of powdered sugar, you're just going to put this in a bowl. You're going to mix that with a 1/3 cup pure maple syrup. And then to that, you're going to add a 1.5 tablespoons of heavy whipped cream. And you're going to grab a whisk. You're going to whisk it until it forms a nice creamy frosting for your maple bars. And then as soon as that's done, you're just going to set that aside until the dough is done rising, and then you'll be able to, and after you fry them and they cool down, you'll be able to frost them with this. You can just stick it in the fridge. Okay, now after the dough has risen, you're going to spread it out and kind of make it into a square shape, and you're going to use a rolling pin and spread it out to about 12 inches by 8 inches of rectangle. So you get it in about a rectangle shape. It doesn't have to be exact, like you can see here. It's not exact, but the better you have it, the more rectangular the pieces will be. But it doesn't have to be perfect. And then you're going to cut it into 12 pieces, roughly rectangular shape. Now lightly flour a baking pan and go ahead and stick those on there. And go ahead and cover it with a towel, or paper towels will work just fine too. And you're going to let the dough rise for about 20 minutes. Now you want to get a saucepan with high edges and fill it with about 2 inches of oil. You want to heat it on medium-high heat, and you want to use a deep fry thermometer here to get the oil to about between 350 or 370 degrees, somewhere in that range. Now you're going to go ahead and fry the dough. So you're just going to stick it in there, and these will take about 5 to 7 minutes on each side to thoroughly fry. You'll want to check about 5 minutes in to see when it gets brown. When it gets brown on one side, then flip it over and let it fry on the other side. Now as the maple bars get done, you can line a plate with paper towels. You just set them on the paper towels to drain, and you're going to let these cool, and before you frost them you want them to be at about room temperature. So after your maple bars cool, you can go ahead and frost them.